One of my favorite things about the Switch is that it not only plays host to some of the biggest, most epic video games of all time, but it's also the home to a wide variety of incredible titles from tiny, up-and-coming developers with something to say. That perfectly describes the game I want to tell you about today. It's called The Last Survey, and it's the debut release from Nicholas O'Brien. It's a stylish adventure with smart writing and a surprisingly relatable premise, all of which adds up to a hidden gem that you definitely need to know about. And if that wasn't a good enough tease, then watch until the end of this video when I'll give you details on how you can win one of 25 copies of The Last Survey. Alright, now I have your attention. Forget fighting through dungeons and slaying fantasy monsters, because The Last Survey pits you against the toughest foe yet. That's right, the corporate world. Believe it or not, it's actually worse than that, because you play a geologist contractor who's about to break some truly awful news to Victor Ferreira, the CEO of a major Brazilian mining company. Let me tell you, this is the kind of news that has the possibility to have huge ramifications for the corporation, and could even send ripples throughout the rest of the industry, if not the world. Yeah, believe me when I tell you that it's really awful news. While most of us have never been put in the position to reveal information that devastating, it's still easy to relate to a story of a person who has to be the bearer of bad news. We've all been put in that position at some point in our lives. The Last Survey takes us through the geologist's entire process, from nervously second-guessing his strategy in the waiting room, to using facts and figures to make a convincing argument when it matters most. The story gives us a peek inside the mind of the researcher, revealing both deep-seated insecurities and long-held political views. All of this plays out like an interactive visual novel. This is the kind of game where the story will lead up to a crucial moment and you'll be asked to make a choice on how to proceed. This gets tense as the geologist starts to take on the boss, but the decisions aren't always as dire as that. In fact, the game eases you in by introducing a number of seemingly insignificant decisions that may or may not alter the course of the day. For example, we're asked early on to choose between a glass of water or a deliciously sweet and sugary coffee drink. It may not be the most important decision you'll make that day, but even the smallest choice can have long-lasting effects. And that's something that I love about The Last Survey. The decisions you make dramatically change the story that's being told, setting up a bunch of different endings that I couldn't wait to see. With each playthrough, I felt like I was learning more about the company and the research, leading to a much deeper understanding of the point the game was making. And with these playthroughs lasting less than an hour, they're designed to be played and replayed in a single sitting. Even as somebody who isn't always big on the visual novel genre, I found myself glued to the screen from beginning to end, and I couldn't wait to go back and see all the different alternate paths. Now, beyond the compelling story, the real star of the game has to be the hand-drawn visuals. There are more than 1,500 illustrations, all of which move and morph as the story plays out. Look, I love the simple look, which reminds me of somebody drawing on a chalkboard. This game is dripping with so much style and charm that I couldn't wait to see what came next. The developer has done a masterful job of painting a hostile and unsympathetic corporate world that feels foreign and unwelcoming to the geologist. There are moments when The Last Survey starts to come across more as a horror game. When the story ramps up, the hand-drawn visuals really help to illustrate the intensity. The moody and often foreboding soundtrack also helps to remind the player that, much like the geologist, we're not welcome in this high-rise building. We have really bad news to reveal, and the musicians seem to know it. Best of all, they also know that sometimes having no music at all can be more stressful than a soundtrack blaring in the background. This game uses silence so well, keeping us on edge as we navigate Victor's unpredictability. But what makes this game truly frightening isn't the music or even the cutthroat CEO, but rather the research the geologist presents. The last survey uses real-world studies and projections to paint a scary future for not only Brazilian mining companies, but also the world as a whole. That's what makes this game so fascinating. It toes the line between fact and fiction, creating an intense story that you'll be thinking about long after the credits roll. And if nothing else, that's one of the best reasons why you should support games like The Last Survey. Hey, do you want to get your hands on The Last Survey? Of course you do, it's great! Well, I'm here to tell you that in celebration with the launch, the team behind this great new game will be giving out 25 copies of The Last Survey. And best of all, Switch Planet viewers have an increased chance of winning! That's right, just watching this video has already improved your odds! How cool is that? All you need to do is use the code SWITCHPLANET, one word, and you'll instantly increase your chances of winning. Make sure and check out the description box for more details and information on both The Last Survey and this awesome contest.
Okay everyone, thanks so much for watching. If you liked that video, please leave a like and subscribe, and ring the bell if you want to get notified when we release new content. We hope to see you in the next video.